Welcome to Nona's Here. I'm Nona, and today is one of my very favorite challenges. I am joining Missy from Crafty Cove DIY, Emily from Farm Charm Chick, and JC from Crafting with JC. Our challenge is to make 5 different crafts for $5 or less. The theme is decor dupes. Now I wanted to make some decor dupes with things that I can use around the condo. So we were to go and find some things that were decor items and then dupe them for $5 or less. So I'm real excited to show you what my crafts are. I'll be sure and link our host, Missy from Crafty Cove DIY, Emily from Farm Charm Chick, and JC from Crafting with JC, their channels down below in the description box. Be sure and check out their channels, and they'll have the major playlist of all the other crafters who are joining in today. So let's get over to my crafting table where I will show you the 5 crafts that I've done for $5 or less. Okay, let's get started. DIY number 1. This I found at Kirkland's. Black beaded picture frame 4x6 for $33.74. So I got a 4x6 black picture frame at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use these silver beads and some ticky-tacky glue. Now these beads were supposed to be self-adhesive, but they weren't. So I just used my ticky-tacky glue with a little dowel to make some dots around the picture frame to attach the beads. I put the beads all the way around the picture frame, and then I had this very special picture of Grumpy Grandpa meeting our great-grandson for the first time last Christmas. And so I inserted the picture of Grumpy Grandpa meeting William for the first time into the picture frame. And that is how I did DIY number 1. Isn't that darling? So the Kirkland's 4x6 picture frame cost on sale $33.74, and mine cost $1.25, but to me it is priceless and will stay in my craft room. DIY number 2. For this one I found on Etsy a wrapped vase, and she was selling it for $29.99. So I got a glass vase at Dollar Tree for $1.25 and a little straw hat also for $1.25. I'm going to use my ticky-tacky glue, and of course I'm going to clean off the glass vase with some alcohol to make sure that there's no fingerprints or anything on it. I'm going to cut the straw hat apart, and really you only have to cut the first ring around it with it has some real nylon thread that it's sewn on, but after you cut off the first row, the second row just tears off. So I cut off the first row, tear off the second row, and then I'm going to attach each row on the picture frame, starting at the bottom, 1 row at a time, using my ticky-tacky glue. I'll slightly overlap each row, but at a different place so it doesn't create a bump going up the vase. I just use my ticky-tacky glue and glue on 1 row at a time on top of the previous row. I don't go all the way up the vase. I only go up about maybe 3/4 of the way, and then I do 1 little row at the top of the vase to complete it. Real easy to do, and it makes quite a cute little vase. Just gluing it on and overlapping it, 1 row at a time. Cleaning it off, and there I go. And there's a little row at the top. So that is my straw wrapped vase compared to the Etsy seller who was selling one at $29.99 and mine that cost about $2.50. Okay, for DIY number 3, I am doing a sand dollar shadow box that I found on Etsy for $14.99. So I have this little frame that I got at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some white chalk paint to paint around the frame. And then I'm going to use masking tape to tape the inside of the frame and use different shades of blue chalk paint to paint the inside. Just randomly paint it, then remove the masking tape. And I'm going to take a sand dollar that we got at Sanibel years ago, and I have a box of those put safely away. And what I'm doing is I'm soaking it in bleach because the sand dollars had oxidized, and I wanted my sand dollar to be nice and white. So I soaked it in bleach, and you can see it came out nice and white and clean again. So I let it dry off. Unfortunately, when I picked up the sand dollar to glue it in, they're so very delicate, I broke off a little edge. I also had some baby sand starfish in my box. I'm using my ticky-tacky glue to glue the sand dollar and the starfish on. But like I was saying, when I picked up the sand dollar, I broke off the edge of the sand dollar into 2 pieces. Now I tried desperately to glue the 2 little pieces of the edge off onto the sand dollar, but I just couldn't get it. See where I broke it off? Just couldn't get it to match perfectly. But I have a solution for that, because as they say in art, there are no mistakes, only opportunities to enhance. So I'll show you what I did in just a minute. So I glued my sand dollar to the middle of my picture shadow box, and there I am using my Cricut tool to try to get those 2 little broken pieces back to the edge of the sand dollar, but I just couldn't get it to meet it back to the sand dollar edge so that you couldn't see it. So I went back to my sand dollar box and found another baby starfish and glued that on top of the broken edge so that you'll never be able to tell unless you tell somebody. Now this will go into my private bath off my craft room, which is done in blue and white beach theme. So I'll be able to enjoy it every day. See how I tried? Just didn't work. So I put 1 baby starfish up in the right-hand corner using my ticky-tacky glue, and then I put another baby starfish over the broken edge. So there's the Etsy sand dollar for $14.99, and there's mine for $1.25, unless you have to take a trip to Sanibel to get your own sand dollar, which may be a little bit more costly. DIY number 4. All right, I found this on Etsy also. It is a frame vintage floral print for $22. So I have canvas that I got at Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I went online and found a free vintage floral print, printed it off. I'm going to paint the canvas, stretch canvas, with some plaster chalk paint just because I think it's easier for the Mod Podge. Now I'm showing you an elephant that I printed off on plain paper and on parchment paper, and I recommend that if you're going to do a print, to go to a office supply store and buy a small package of parchment paper, because it really makes a nicer print. Now I've decoupaged the front, and now I'm doing the back, and I'm cutting the corners so that they will nicely fit over the corner of the canvas. And you can see the print was 8 by 10 and the canvas is 8 by 10, so there's not much overlap of the print onto the stretched canvas. But there was a little bit of a overlap, so now I'm decoupaging, gluing down with the Mod Podge. So I'm getting that down all nice and tight, and then I'm going to be ready to spray it. I couldn't decide whether I was going to put the glass in the frame or not, so I'm going to spray it with my clear acrylic sealer. I did decide in the end to put the glass in the frame. So I sprayed it a couple times with the clear acrylic sealer, not knowing whether I was going to put the glass in the frame or not. So there's my clear acrylic coating. It was in satin, and I sprayed it inside my craft room and almost asphyxiated myself. So I'm using this $1.25 8 by 10 frame from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pop the canvas, stretched canvas, into the frame. Trying to decide whether I'm going to leave that matting in or not. Decided to leave it in. Put it all together. Popped in the picture. And there it is, all finished. So now I'm going to compare it to the Etsy seller that was selling hers for $22 and mine for $1.25. I like mine. All right, DIY number 5. Now this one's a real hoot. Got this from Hobby Lobby. This is a swag, and for the life of me, I couldn't find the original one. This was selling for $56.95. The original one was done on braided jute, but I couldn't find it again, so I'm just using this one, which is done on twisted brown paper. But I did mine on the braided jute. I measured off about 4.5 feet, and this one I really wanted to go over the blind that I have in my window in my craft room, because I used to have drapes there, and the drapes were taken down for the blind, and they were custom ordered blinds, but you could still see the marks where the drapery rod had been put up. So I wanted something to cover that. So I braided my jute, and then I took a piece of the ivory that I'd gotten in that huge box from the garage sale that I paid $3 for. So this one piece of ivory cost me about 40 cents because I had this huge box of greenery that I got at the garage sale. Now this ivory has little holes along it, so I stuck the braided jute through the holes in order to pull it along the ivory using my Cricut tweezers, and I just pulled it along, and then I had the jute along the ivory, and there were little holes just perfectly randomly along the ivory that was perfect for lining up the ivory along the jute. Then I had 3 different colors of peonies, which was used on the original swag that I had found at Hobby Lobby. And I let some greenery down each edge of the braided jute to hang down the sides. So I had 3 colors of these peonies, teal, white, and pink. And I used 2 flowers from each branch. And I cut those off, and I hot glued them randomly along the jute. Just hot glued them along the jute, just to make, no special order. Then I had these little clear self-adhesive hooks that I put up on the wall above the blind to hang this swag Well, actually, Grumpy Grandpa helped me. See these self-adhesive little clear hooks. So there's the swag from Hobby Lobby for $56.99. And here's my swag hanging above my blind that covers those marks from the curtain rod for $1.70. I think mine's just as pretty and certainly less expensive. Okay, tell me in the comments below which is your favorite 5 for $5 or less. And thanks so much for joining me today for 5 for $5. I'm so glad you stopped by, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked my video, and I certainly hope to see you again soon at Nona's Here. Bye!